Hey, sorry about that. Got a update from Michael James here. What we're going to do today is get the head put on here, right here, and the legs here on these two legs. And I've got the dowel rods and I've pre-drilled the holes. So I can stick the dowel rods in like this. Okay? And I want the dowel rod to go so far in so it anchors the pieces. Now the outside layer of this is resin, and the inside layer is foam, so I can sink it in as far as I want to. But here's the thing. I got pre-drilled holes on the legs, and I'm getting them synced up to the body parts right here. I'll show you, we can put that and sit out. Get them synced up to the body parts. So when I put the dowel rods in there, I can put this in here, and I'll anchor that in there. Cut about, maybe about almost a foot. Anchor it in there. That way I can sink it in probably about 6 or 8 inches. Sink it deep inside the leg to have an anchor right there. Or I could drill more into, but this is pretty solid. So all I have to do is cut off probably about so much and sink it in here. I'll do that on my saw here. Get the saw set up real quick. I can do these. And then after I sink them in there, I have to, let me get this set up real quick. Hang on. After I get those legs sunk in there, I'm going to have to take a little bit of epoxy, the dark epoxy, and put it on both sides of the leg so it actually be a bonding element, and I can fill the gaps between here and the leg and have it bonded, and then go on the outside with cut a piece of dowel rod, put that in there. I'm going to drill that hole over right there. Just a little bit wider. The dowel rod slip right in there. Once I get it in there, I can sink it all the way in the body. What I want to do is sink it even further into this end. So I can put, this has only gone in about a 1/4 inch, and there's 8 inches on this thing. So, and the only reason I'm doing this is because these are the initial resin pieces. I got about a good 3 inches in there. Now, I'm gonna to sink this rod in there where there. And now, I don't exactly know how this goes, where it goes. I think it goes this way. Sticks out. So now we have one leg anchored. What I got to do is make that flush and then fill in all that gap with putty, with epoxy putty. And that will anchor that leg where it doesn't go anywhere. Now I got to keep it bending and falling. So that's one. I will get this big one here, and this is already drilled. And this is the one that needs to go on there. We got that top one. I gotta drill the hole bigger. That one. I probably got a good 2 inches in there on this one. So then I have to take this dowel rod, put it in here. It's anchored, and it can in turn go on here with about 6 or 8 inches cut off right here. Let me put the dowel rod on my cut in here. Now this one being on top of the dog, I'm going to make sure it's going to fit and stay like that. And gets anchored in there. Take that epoxy putty, fill it around so he doesn't move. And that's what I got to do is take that epoxy putty and fill in here and smooth it out where it doesn't move. We got that one. Then we got the head. Now the head being a little bit more difficult. The head, you got the ear on there. I still got to do a little touch-up work with the putty to the head. And I got all the glue off. I drilled the hole. And I got the hole ready. I want it to be deeper, but I'm afraid it's going to cut into the tongue area. I'm trying to get a little bit more deeper on one side. Now this one's going to be proving to be a little bit difficult because they got the tongue in there and it can only go so deep before the tongue gets compromised. It'll pop out in the hole of the tongue, and I don't want it to do that. It's already showing a little bit in the back. But if I can anchor this in there really well, I can cut probably about 4 inches off of here on this big one, because being so heavy. Cut about 4 inches off of that and sink it into the body. It's kind of like how Michael James sculpted this, using wires and rods and stuff. And these are support rods because the head is so heavy. Kind of a bit. And you gotta fit in the neck. And I got it in the neck, but it's probably too long. So I'm gonna anchor this in here. Probably cut about 1 inch off, 2 inches off, because it's neck twist, and I can't go too far back in because it will go around the curve of the twist. Let's see if we can do it. Maybe shove it in, get it anchored a little bit. Drop that in there, maybe that'll work. See how this works with that. Might slide all the way in. Maybe not. I'm feeling like I got cut 2 inches off of this thing because it's too long. But I still need more on this side than I have on the other. So I'm going to cut 2 inches off. That won't work. And it just about sinks up. And there it goes. I got to anchor it a little bit deeper in the head so it stays on there. Once I can get that anchored in there, I'll just take a epoxy putty, put it around, shape it, mold it, do all that, and then we'll paint it. But this, like I said, the anchoring part is because this thing is so deep, or so heavy, that I can't readily do anything with it. Being resin. Foam's a different matter. I could take smaller ones and stick them in there for the foam, but I have to redo these in foam, legs and all that. So, but it gets flush on there, and then just a matter of putting epoxy and Bondo, or not Bondo, because Bondo will melt with foam. And getting the epoxy on there. So while it's not too hot, that's what I'm kind of doing, is trying to sync up these legs. I got the big one here on the back side, which I'm going to have to put in a bunch of adhesive and anchor that in there, because that's got to have a hole and stuff for the plug. And like I said, these legs are going to be fine to go on here with putty and stuff all around it to anchor it. And smooth it out and get it to fit the body. Kind of mesh to the body. So that's where we're at with this at the moment. And there again, it's getting hot. So I got to clear off the table, take all this inside, because it's going to be too hot out here. And if I leave this resin out here in the heat, it might get melty and sticky. So I want to be careful not to let it do that. So, and the big leg right here, there's the one going on the back. That side here, I'm going to get that over here. And the big, I found the little leg, and I've got it partially molded, but I got to wait for some more silicone to come in. This one's going to be a little difficult to do because it's already set, but I got to weld it with adhesive and shit to get it to fit, and then Bondo around it. But for the most part, it's set to go. I'm going to go ahead and drill a bit for a dowel rod to go in there, just so I can have extra support. Even though it's got a plug and it's kind of flush, I don't trust it because it's so heavy. So I have to anchor this thing up with a dowel rod and then take the epoxy and smooth in around it. So, and Michael, I did sculpt in the missing toe. Everything, put the toenail in there. So you got the missing toe right there. It's all solid resin. So, I need to sink a dowel rod in there. I don't know if I'm going to use a little one or a big one. I'll probably use a bigger one. I need a bigger one. This is almost ready. Widen that hole a little bit. There we go. I'm getting it fit. Now I got to sink it in a couple inches. Make sure it doesn't fit all the way down. Anchor that. Cut off about maybe 3-4 inches. Maybe 5. And then put it right there at the body. So let's do that real quick. Now to hammer that in there with a hammer and get it to fit real well. And then drill a hole in the body where it will fit. I'll get a hammer real quick. I'll go ahead and sink that in there. There we go. Drill a hole on the body. Gotta be bigger. There we go. There we go. And the body there. That thing wants to come off. Got to hammer it better and deeper to hold it. Thing is, if I do too short a plug, it won't hold. That's why this being the resin that it is, if you sink that deep in there, let it go right in there and fit. If this is aligned right. But it's so heavy, you can see it already wants to fold away from the body. So, building this thing has been quite the chore. And I gotta admit, it's not been a lot of fun. With waiting for materials and supplies and shit catching fire and all that. To say it's been an experience is one thing, but, you know, that's the whole thing. It's been an experience. Probably cut this a little bit short. Cut this about an inch. Now it's flush. Just gotta adjust it right here. right there. And then do the epoxy, like Bondo. I could do Bondo on this side, but it'll get hot. And of course I'll have to repaint it and shit. Match it to the body. I don't even know if it's the right side up. It is the right side up because that's how it fits. So there we go. Got the big leg on there, little legs, and I still got that one little leg right here that goes here. Got it about 3/4 of the way molded. Got to wait for some more silicone. So I'm gonna spend the day today and tomorrow Bondo and epoxy patching this and the head and all that, and trying to get this thing put together at least proportionally. We got the flower in there and it's molding. I got to shape that, put that on there. And then I can get that other leg done and mold it and stick it in there and it's done. So it's just a matter of getting that other leg finished, the flower, and boom, that's pretty much done. So, gonna epoxy putty. Now this thing's gonna be heavy to carry, so I gotta go in there. I see it's not gonna come off. Michael, the backside I'll paint, but there's a couple of discrepancies I'm not gonna worry about because all that's gonna get filled in with Bondo and putty, so it won't really show. But I'll fill it up, make sure it's stuck to the body. And then of course I have to paint the toenail on the leg before I put it on there. Alright? So there we go. I gotta now go in, clean up my shop table, get all this and put it on there. So we will see you on the next one. Appreciate it.